Hi, everyone. This is a quick episode on James Tabor. He just came out 10 hours ago with a video. It's only 16 minutes long. I recommend everybody who's team Jesus Words Only, go to this video and watch it and enjoy it because finally we're getting some headway into the mainstream. He proclaims the truths about James' position on Paul, his view that Jesus' gospel is totally different from Paul's. And James Tabor is not hiding the contours of this and is giving us a true and accurate depiction of our original church. And I think this partly has to do with Eisenman having already covered this ground through the Dead Sea Scrolls. And now James Tabor is following in suit, and now we're getting a better picture that the original church was very much not in favor of Paul, and he's underlining that. Whether that means he is anti-Paul or not, I don't know, but he's telling us counter Paul truths, and I'm just going to give you a little flavor of a couple minutes of it. I don't want to rob his thunder, but I want to encourage you to watch this. I'm going to show you the clip I like best.
What is amazing is that the letter of James, short as it is, contains no fewer than 30 direct references, echoes, and allusions to the teachings of Jesus found in the Q source. James is essentially echoing and affirming what he had learned and passed on from his brother Jesus, who had in turn learned and heard from John the Baptizer. For James, the Christian message is not the person of Jesus, but the message that Jesus proclaimed. James's letter lacks a single teaching that is characteristic of the Apostle Paul, and it draws nothing at all from the tradition of Mark. What we have preserved in this precious document is a reflection of the original gospel proclamation of Jesus, the gospel of the kingdom of God with its full political and social implications. Several additional witnesses to this original non-Pauline version of Christianity have survived. One of them, surprisingly, is from a second brother of Jesus named the Apostle Jude. It is contained at the end of the New Testament. Jude's letter likely dates to the last decades of the 1st century A.D. He warned his readers of certain intruders who'd stolen in among the movement, and he urges them to struggle earnestly for the faith that was once for all passed on to the original believers. James, Jude, and the Q source stand as witness to an original version of the Christian faith that takes us back to Jesus himself, with firm historical links reaching back to John the Baptizer. Fortunately, there are other witnesses that have surfaced in recent times. Perhaps the most important is the lost source called the Didache, which dates to the beginning of the 2nd century A.D. or even earlier. The Didache was intended to be a handbook for Christian converts. The first 6 chapters give a summary of Christian ethics based on the teaching of Jesus, divided into 2 parts, the way of life and the way of death. Much of the content is similar to what we have in the Sermon on the Mount and the Sermon on the Plain. That is, the basic ethical teachings of Jesus drawn from the Q source now found in Matthew and Luke. It begins with the 2 great commandments, to love God and love one's neighbor as oneself, as well as a version of the Golden Rule. And whatever you do not want to happen to you, do not do to another. The entire content and tone of the Didache reminds us strongly of the faith and piety we find in the letter of James and in the teachings of Jesus in the Q source. The most remarkable thing is that there is nothing in the Didache that corresponds to Paul's gospel.
Okay, so we'll see that you've just seen the clips that I thought were the most interesting. If you want, go to the description on our this video, and you will see the link to watch the entire 16 minutes. And so, one of my favorite quotes was where he says, "James lacks a single teaching characteristic of the Apostle Paul." Okay, God bless. Take care, and ciao.